Hello everyone, okay, this is video number 42 and it's a follow-up on the non-farm payrolls, which came out as a very good number and obviously affected the market quite dramatically. The other interesting point about this particular non-farm payrolls is the implications towards the Fed obviously increasing the rates. So I suppose this one was watched quite heavily. So what I want to do is just have a quick look at the charts and see what was affected and how it was affected. So the first one here is the dollar index. We're on a 1 minute chart here. Okay. Obviously we had a huge move up because obviously it was good news, and interesting. Obviously, we can expect an increase in volume, which we can see down here. So let's just have a look at the euro dollar, and obviously big move here. One interesting point when trying to deal or trade something like the non-farm payrolls is the practicalities of actually trading it, because the problem is, of course, everything's happening so quickly. One problem is, for example, is the spread betting platform. You usually find that they almost grind to a halt. So if you're trying to click on a dealing ticket, you'll find that it'll just simply not move, and consequently when you do finally get the trade on, the slippage will be terrible. It'll probably be nothing like what you hoped the entry figure would be, and of course the other problem is if it's a figure where it causes the market to fluctuate. Obviously in this instance it was pretty direct was the move, but the non-farm payrolls can jump about all over the place. So if you put on the chart, for example, a buy order and a sell order prior to the news coming out, it could spike and take one of your orders out and get you in a really bad losing trade. So that's not really a practical way to go either. Has anybody else out there got an answer to this problem? Because it's obviously a difficult one to trade. If you can get it right, then obviously there's potentially a lot of money to be made. The other thing you really need is a live news feed, such as Rand Squawk, or there is another one, I can't think of the name of them now, which is quite cheap, and at least that way you know what the figures are. Obviously you can watch your on balance volume, but you really need to know also what the actual figure is, and the implications there, and whether, of course, you can judge whether any movement or any figure that comes out is already priced into the market. Okay, so let's just move on to, so we had a look at the dollar index, we had a look at the euro dollar. Let's have a look at the DAX, and interesting, obviously volumes again, and there was certainly a move here. If we have a look at the FTSE, again we've got some movement here, volume. The S&P 500, again that's quite scatty, that one, isn't it? Look. Gold was an interesting one, nice big move there. Okay, if you look at the volumes, actually it's interesting here, look. Okay, and crude oil, again look at the huge volume here, look at the volume prior and look at the volume on the news. Okay, so that was really just a follow-up on that. Now the other thing I just want to just touch on is G's last post on the video thread about the big move we had on the sterling. So I'm going to go onto an hourly chart and just go through that. So it was the Bank of England announcement, and then obviously the next day we then had the non-farm payroll, so there was a lot of volatility and movement there, and G has posted some charts up, and obviously he's talking about the 60% retracement loss. So I'm just going to go through those with you. So the first chart that G put up was the the sterling New Zealand dollar. So let me get rid of this. Okay, so here's our move. Right, we're on an hourly chart, and let's put a 60% in here. So if we go down to this point here, I've pre-configured my Fibonacci, so I get a 60%. So if you double click, right click Fibo properties, you can see here, look, I've I've changed the settings, so it brings up the 60% line. Okay, so it's obviously retraced back to this point. Okay, so that was the sterling New Zealand dollar. And interestingly, if we look at the indicators and what they've been doing, obviously you can interpret this yourself. Look at the high volumes here. Look, so obviously we had this high volume down here, and it started to fall off, didn't it? We've got a little bit of high volume there, look, and obviously the difference line is coming up at that point. And interestingly, if you look at the on balance volume, there's not really an awful lot happening there, is there? Okay, so interesting comparison here, look, difference line, on balance volume. The volumes certainly kick off around here, don't they? And we've got this strong move. Okay, so let's just have a look at the next chart that G put up, which was the sterling Aussie. Just bear with me. Okay, so we've had a retracement there, so let's put the 6% line in. Okay, if we go down to here, so the 60% is here, look. And again, if we're looking at the volumes, obviously down here, high volume, it's dropping off. We've got a bit of a move here, haven't we? High volume. Interesting one actually, this one. If I just pop, if I just put a line in here, let's just put a. Okay, so high volume. It's obviously pushing price, and also look at the on balance volume. Look, obviously it's ticked up a bit here, but it has gone down. The currencies at that point are certainly coming away from each other, and the difference line is certainly coming down. And then as we go along, we're now starting to see high volume. The on balance volume has crossed this marker here, and the difference line is coming up. That currency, the sterling's a bit flat, isn't it? And the Aussie dollar is certainly, sorry, the wrong way around. The sterling here is coming up, and the Aussie dollar, there look, is a bit flat at that point. But that was the start, wasn't it, of the move back up to the 60% mark. Okay, let's look at the next one that G posted, which was the sterling yen. Okay, I'll get rid of that line there. Let's put the 60% line in. So we're going down to there. So, right, it hasn't gone there yet, has it? We've certainly had high volume here. On balance volume is kicking off. The difference line is certainly starting to move up, but it has hesitated. But it does look as though, well, not necessarily starting again, is it? Because the volume look has dropped off. But again, this is, you know, towards the end of the week, so the markets are shutting down, and the volume has certainly dropped off. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. I think the next one is the sterling dollar. If I can get this chart up, it would help. Okay, so this one hasn't really played out yet. Look, I've put the 6% retracement line in here, and similar sort of thing again. Look, what this really high volume here, and it did actually pull up a little bit, didn't it? We've got the unbalanced volume coming up, difference line coming up, but the volume's certainly dropping off again. But again, as I said, this is towards the end of the week, isn't it, where the markets are closing. So this one hasn't fulfilled its promise yet, so we will await that one. I think that covered all of them. So yeah, that's it for now really, just some thoughts and some observations. Okay, thanks chaps, bye now.